and welcome to Girls Do Sport, our bite-sized guide to the wide world of women's sport here in Scotland. Girls Do Sport is a joint project between the Scottish Women in Sport and sports journalism students here at the University of the West of Scotland. We want to showcase the great work being carried out by sports around the country, from playing to coaching and management. We'll look at a different sport in each episode, and today is the turn of tennis. We will be speaking to studio guest Gillian McElroy of Prestwick Tennis and former player Colin Fleming, who now works for Tennis Scotland, as well as our reporters out in the field. And you can get involved in the conversation by using the hashtag GirlsDoSport. Now, what do we know about tennis in Scotland? Numbers of women and girls participating in the sport has almost doubled since 2011, with 41,000 taking part in the sport. While men's tennis had Jamie and Andy Murray, Scottish women's tennis has also had its share of success. Elena Baltacha was British #1 over the space of 10 years between 2002 and 2012. But since her tragic death in 2014, at the age of just 30, Scotland women's tennis hasn't met the same heights. There is hope for the future with Maya Lumsden coming through. Just 19 years old, she has already defeated some stellar opposition in her short career. One of the country's biggest achievements was the gold medal win in 2010 Delhi Commonwealth Games. The mixed doubles were won by Jocelyn Ray and our studio guest Colin Fleming. But first, She Rallies is a project set up by Judy Murray that aims to get young girls into the sport of tennis while having fun. To find out more, we sent a reporter, Tom McKinnon.
Today, I was at Ayr Academy to look at the She Rallies project. First, I spoke to Master Shona Ross, as well as some of the coaches reaping the rewards of the system.
Today we've been training some ladies up to deliver what we're calling Lil Miss Hits, which is a programme designed for children aged about 5 to 8 who have never played tennis before. So it's just introducing them to basic tennis, but in a very fun and friendly and sociable environment.
So we've just been told kind of ways to engage 5 or 6 year olds into tennis and not actually telling them specific shots like a forehand or a backhand, but just teaching them the natural movements that their muscles will get used to, and if they progress on to play tennis, they'll just be able to do it easier. And for getting girls involved, which is more important because girls don't want to play with boys, so it's good for being able to teach wee girls just fun ways to play tennis and them not really knowing that they're playing tennis.
Tennis is it's a kind of complex sport, so we need to make it easier for them. We need to do something that's indoors and it's fun for them and achievable. If they play tennis outside and they go and it's raining, all they tend to do is pick up soggy tennis balls off the courts, and it's not very enjoyable. So it's just a great way to introduce them to our game. They get friendship. What we like to do is create a social group so that they come together with their friends, meet other friends, and then we interact with them over the 6-week sessions that we have for them. And then that session can then go up and become a wee tennis session, so they're going up with their friends, and that's really important for wee girls. Do you know, it's very unusual. I'm a coach and I've been a coach for about the last 14-15 years, and normally you're always just coaching people that come along to your sessions, but it's really nice to be training people that haven't played tennis before, and then using the kids to show the people that you're training how your class looks like, and that's the difference. The number is 1 girl to 4 boys enter into tennis. We're finding it used to be 12, 13 year olds, the girls drifted out of tennis. It's now getting younger and younger. What we're finding is girls train quite differently from boys, and that's a general statement. Not all girls do, but they like to be together. So if you put them straight into a tennis group which is mixed, it can be a harder thing to achieve as a coach, to keep them going.
I think it's going to be a really successful programme. The interest has been really high, and there's loads of people keen to come on these courses. So it's really just about making sure that once they've been on the course, they really get stuck in and get into the community and get more young girls involved in tennis.
The club that my kids play in, it's 90% boys, and they start playing at the school, but again it's mostly boys that volunteer for it at the school, and then from there they go to the club. So it's a great way of trying to get the girls at a really young age interested.
I think the fun that the children and the workforce actually get out of it, you could hear them laughing and squealing today when they were doing their activities. So that to me is a great buzz.
That was another successful She Rallies. I've been Tom McKinnon for Girls Do Sport.
That was Shona Ross, She Rallies ambassador for the West of Scotland, with our reporter Tom McKinnon. But now I'm joined in the studio with LTA coach at Prestwick Tennis, Gillian McElroy, and Commonwealth gold medalist Colin Fleming. Thanks guys for joining us. So Gillian, you're a tennis coach, and what approaches would you use when you're focusing on getting girls involved in tennis?
Well, we tend to try and keep more of the girls together in their squads, and we approach it more as more team games, and working as a team you tend to get more out of them rather than them playing individually. They respond more to playing team events, so we try and do that as much as possible, play team challenges with other clubs, and yeah, as much as we can with teams.
Colin, obviously participation has nearly doubled. What has Tennis Scotland done that would suggest that those figures are so great?
Well, I mean, you know, female and girls participation is one of our three main goals in our equality action plan. So there's been some great initiatives run by Tennis Scotland in partnership with Judy Murray and our Tennis on the Road campaign. So she rallies, as we saw. The LTA also have a initiative, Tennis Tuesdays, where it's free for girls and ladies to come along and play tennis at participating clubs around the country. So there's a lot of good initiatives really growing the game for girls to get started, and we've got great coaches like Gillian, which is fantastic to have them involved and bringing the girls together in sort of social and fun environments, like she says, and that's really hopefully encouraging more and more of them to play.
So that's obviously the grassroots level. What would you say they're doing to kind of guide to the pathway of elite level tennis?
Yeah, well, we have, I think we touched on Elena Baltaccia, who was an incredible player, unfortunately passed away a few years ago. I kind of grew up playing at the same time as her, and since then we're sort of hoping for that next female player to kind of make it at the top of the game. So there's Maya Lumsden coming through, and then there's Ali Collins, who's a couple of years younger than Maya, doing really well in the junior ranks. So we're working with those players to try and bring them on as much as possible. And I think as Gillian touched on at the grassroots, I think it's the same with those sort of performance players moving towards the senior game, as structuring and tailoring their programmes to their needs. It can be slightly different to the boys and to the men, so making sure they're getting everything that they need to try and be successful on the world stage.
Gillian, where would you rate women's tennis in the media landscape against other sports?
I think that you get quite good coverage on the TV of Grand Slams and big events, but when it comes to the rest of the tournaments throughout the year, you don't probably get as much compared to other sports. I'm not really sure how the comparison would be to female and females in different sports getting coverage on TV. I'm not really sure. I think compared to men, there's probably more throughout the majority of sports, but I'm not sure how the comparison would be. Sorry.
Colin, what would say Tennis Scotland and maybe the Scottish media do to then bring up the kind of grassroots coverage of tennis, women's tennis?
Well, I think initiatives like this, women in sport, Scottish women in sport, and Girls Do Sport, these initiatives are great to get it out there in the media. And the media now isn't just about TV, it's social media and really engaging with those younger age groups. So, fantastic initiatives to get behind and get people playing. And then hopefully, like I say, if we have some success again in the sort of top end of the sport, some Scottish females coming through there, then we can really, make a song and a dance about them and celebrate their successes that can hopefully inspire the next generation to come through and follow in their footsteps. So
then, kind of to summarise, all the boosting and the participation and the doubling of the numbers, where would you say Scottish tennis can go now to keep those numbers of women participating growing?
I think that's the aim, to keep it growing. I'm sure there's been a huge effect from Andy and Jamie Murray, like you say. Incredible, both of them being world number one. Judy Murray doing fantastic work, which has been great in growing it. One of Tennis Scotland's main aims over the next sort of 10 or 12 years is to double the number of juniors playing again. So we're really ambitious to try and keep lots of juniors playing, and boys and girls, and really keep them coming through, whether that's towards performance tennis or just playing tennis socially or playing it, tennis is a sport for life. So we want to really grow the game and get as many of them playing as possible.
And Gillian, how can you maybe reiterate that in a more local level?
I think, as we've touched on, the grassroots is the most important part, because if you don't get them playing at that stage, you're not then going to produce the players that you want to be on the stage to kind of encourage a little bit more as well. So the more that's put into that, and the more that's put into training coaches up to as to how to cater for that age group and bring them through, the more of that happening, then the better it will be. As I say, the numbers at the 5-year-old stage is the way to get it going all the way through.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Time now to find out more about some of our young sports people in Scotland with our young ambassadors. Today we meet Erin Partridge.
What is your sport?
My sport's tennis.
Did your friends all play tennis?
I've got a lot of friends that play tennis, yeah, from home and from all across my life, yeah.
How many times a week do you play tennis?
Well, I coach tennis now, but I used to play almost every day.
Cool. What's your hobby outside of like tennis when you're not doing tennis?
My hobby is other sports. I like to play golf quite a lot, going to football, so a lot of other sports.
Yeah. Did you get paid for playing tennis?
I used to, yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Do you have a pet, and what's its name?
No, I don't have a pet. I used to have a pet when I was young, but just like hamsters and guinea pigs and things like that. So no pets.
Stuff.
I've got 2 young children, so they're like pets sometimes. Clean up after them.
Can you tell me a secret about yourself?
Ooh, a secret about myself. I wouldn't know where to start. What could I say? My nickname is Flembo. There you go.
What's your favourite food?
Favourite food? I love steak and chips. It's my favourite meal. Yummy.
Who's your favourite singer or musician?
There's so many. Favourite singer or musician? I'd go for, I don't know, I used to like U2 a lot when I was younger. I don't listen to them so much now, but I'll go for them.
What other sports did you try?
Well, golf, football. They were probably the 2 main ones that I played. I didn't play rugby, I was too small. But I played a lot of tennis from quite a young age, yeah.
Can you still eat chocolate when you're training?
Absolutely, definitely.
What's the best advice someone has ever given you?
The best advice would be just to, I mean, you hear it a lot, but to enjoy what you're doing. Because when I was playing tennis, it was a lot of hard work required, but you had to enjoy it as well. So that was the best thing.
Who's your sporting idol?
Sporting idol, probably Andre Agassi. I used to love him when I was young. He was inspirational in me wanting to play tennis.
M&M's or Smarties?
It's the same thing, isn't it? Pretty much. I don't know. M&M's. Why not? Big yellow bag. Yeah.
Coke or Iron Brew?
Iron Brew, definitely. Scottish.
Yeah. Who's your best friend?
My best friend. I better say my wife, or I'll be in trouble if she sees this. Yeah.
If you had a superpower, what would it be and why?
If I had a superpower, it would be to fly. So
nice.
I could, get places quickly and see lots of stuff.
So what's your sport?
Tennis.
When did you start playing tennis?
I was probably about 7, I think.
Did your friends all play?
No, not when I started, but then I made lots of friends by playing tennis.
How many times a week do you play tennis?
Well, I coach now, but I still play 2 or 3 times a week.
What's your hobby outside of tennis?
I like to watch a lot of sports, so go to live things and cheer on the teams and get involved in the crowd. It's good.
Did you get paid for playing?
No, I wish I did. No.
That's sad. Do you have a pet and what's its name?
I do have a pet cat and she's called Bex.
Cute. Can you tell me a secret about yourself?
It's quite difficult. Probably a secret that not a lot of people know. I'm very, very rubbish at getting out of my bed in the morning. I snooze my alarm about 4 times before I eventually get up.
What's your favourite food?
Probably sushi.
What's your favourite singer or musician?
I like a lot, but I'm going to see Emily Sandé on Sunday, so I'll see her.
Yeah. What other sports did you try?
As a kid, I played a bit of everything. Badminton, football, hockey, as much as I could.
Can you still eat chocolate when you're training?
Yes, of course.
What is the best advice someone has ever given you?
To never give up.
Who's your sporting idol and why?
I think probably Steffi Graf, because she was the best tennis player when I was younger.
M&M's or Smarties?
Smarties all the way.
Coke or Iron Brew?
Iron Brew, Scottish.
Cats or dogs?
Cats, because I've got a wee pet cat.
Who's your best friend?
That's a tough one. I've got a lot of friends, a lot of best friends that I went to school with.
If you had a superpower, what would it be and why?
I think probably flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now time for some questions from today's guests from our studio audience. Our first question is from Nicole McManus and it's for both our guests.
Thank you. If you weren't playing tennis, what other sport would you play?
I would probably be badminton. I know it's quite similar to tennis, but I played it a lot when I was younger as well, and I quite like the playing on your own side of tennis, so I suppose that would transfer over to badminton.
I would play golf. I love to play golf, but I'd be playing it at quite a local recreational level because I'm not that good at it, but I do like to play.
Our next question is from Andrew Scott and it's for Colin.
Thanks. What is your favourite Wimbledon memory?
I've got a few. Consider myself pretty fortunate to have played tennis there. Probably two spring to mind. One year in 2011, my best result there was making the quarterfinals of the doubles, and then the other would be getting to play on centre court. I'm lucky enough to do that twice in the mixed doubles, so some pretty special memories from there, yeah.
So we have just time for one more question and that's from Lewis Birrell.
This is a question for both of you. Throughout your respective matches and both your kind of tennis careers, what's the fastest serve that you've faced?
Fastest serve I've faced? I've played against John Isner, so probably 145 miles an hour or something like that, yeah. Which is, yeah, pretty tough to return.
I don't think I'm quite up there, but I used to get my coach to hit his serve as fast as he possibly could at me. I'm not sure what it would be, 100 probably, just because I wanted to see if I could get it back.
Cheers.
Thanks to our studio audience. You can join in the conversation using the hashtag GirlsDoSport. Now it's the time for the part of the show where our sports people have just 15 seconds to sell their sports. Over our 9 programmes, we're going to be looking to see who can squeeze the most words about their sport into just 15 seconds. Colin is going to have a go today. So Colin, if you can look straight down that camera and tell us in as many words as possible why your sport is the best.
Okay, I'll give it a go. I think tennis is the best because it's a sport for life. You can take it up like I did at 3 years old and you can play it until you're 103 years old if you want. It's a sport for everyone. It's social, you can progress. It's lots of fun. I think there's so many reasons to get into tennis.
Time up. Our crack team has said that you got 50 words into that time there. So we'll have it checked again and add it to our leaderboard, and our international team of adjudicators will confirm and get that up on our Facebook page. That is Scottish Women in Sport. So that's all we have time for, just time to squeeze in some details of some events coming up across Scotland courtesy of our friends at Sport on Spec. On a tennis theme, Andy Murray Live comes to the SSE Hydro on November the 7th. That one is currently sold out, but there is a tantalising promise that more tickets could become available. Also in November, the Badminton Scottish Grand Prix comes to the Emirates Arena in Glasgow. Olympian and Commonwealth Games silver medalist and Scotland number 1, Kirsty Gilmore, is expected to feature there, and tickets are still available. Looking ahead to December, and the Scottish National Short Course Swimming Championships come to Edinburgh. For more on sport you can see in Scotland, check out sportonspec.co.uk. And that's been Girls Do Sport, brought to you by the Scottish Women in Sport and the sports journalists of the University of the West of Scotland. We'd like to thank our partners at Brand Oath for making everything look fabulous, and Sport on Spec. Keep the conversation going using the hashtag GirlsDoSport. But for now, thanks for joining us.